Hey, Dustin Tibbetts here, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers. How you doing out there? My new favorite number is 36. We are the 36th best advisor ranked by USA Today in the entire United States. Thanks for that, by the way. Hey, today we're talking to the 35-year-old who hasn't saved anything, right? So we get this a lot. A lot of clients come to us and they're just getting started. We love that, by the way. If you're just getting started, you want some help, you want to work with an advisor, but the other guys are telling you, come back when you have $1 million. Well, Jazz Wealth, we want everybody. We're playing the long game here where we work with people who are young or just getting started, and we can grow them and be, hopefully, they'll be our client for years to come. Well, a lot of times we come across people that are just getting started. They watch the videos, they get all excited, and they think that they're behind a little bit, right? So we got to do a little work here, but if you're 35 years old and you have nothing saved in retirement, just know that we have a lot of experience with that one there. So we're going to talk about building $1 million portfolio. Some of you are going to think that's a lot. Some of you are going to think it's a little. It's actually quite a lot for a retirement portfolio. We've done thousands of these. So when you see the headlines that are like, you need $5 million in retirement or whatever, what are you doing, right? Going on cruises and stuff? So we're going to go over some different things here. Now, the first thing we find, this is not my data. This is Yahoo, that says, hey, most people are not satisfied or at least neutral with their current saving strategy. Part of the reason for that, if you want to look up this study, is the cost of living. What the hell happened that everything costs so much, right? It's like just like that. I see it here. I don't know where you're at, but that's a problem. So people say, oh, okay, the cost of living is more. I cannot save enough or even anything. Is that true? So one of the things we're working on, I'll show you here real quick. One of the things we're working on that's almost ready to go is the ability to see your entire financial life in just one little tiny screen like this. I've been working on this for over 5 years and it's almost done. If you tell me you cannot save more, I'd go, okay, your savings rate is next to nothing there. You're burning 23% of your cash. You're not on track for retirement, but your debt to income is really low. So that's a good thing there. You're paying a lot in taxes. So let's see if we can solve for that. Imagine that if an advisor could just know your life and go, oh, you want to buy that house? No, you have no liquidity. Where's the money coming from? No, you're not taking out from your very weak retirement accounts already. Let's figure something else out, right? We no longer want to be the people who are just focused on retirement. I think that's a dated business model. So just be on the lookout for that. But I understand that the cost of living eats into your savings. So I get it. That's why I share that study with you here. Now, the common approach is to do something like this and say, well, if you're a certain age, we're going to multiply your salary by we're going to multiply your salary and suggest that that's what you need to have in retirement. Yeah, I don't know. This is a great general answer, right? It gets you thinking because most people aren't going to hit that number and they're going to go, okay, what do I do? Right? It's fine. Gets you thinking, but I want to work with everybody to figure out their own number there. In reality, I did Canadians too because we have a lot of Canadians that follow us along. I appreciate that. In reality, the average American under the age of 35 has $37,000, and I would argue that some of that might be part of a 401k loan as well. How many of you fell victim to that? I see it there. I'm watching. Anyways, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give one example. I am not telling you to buy the NASDAQ. I am saying this is an example, right? The QQQ, which follows the NASDAQ 100 actually, is technically an outperformer. Historically, it has outpaced the S&P, and that's just because tech stocks became more popular over the years, and they weight more heavily towards tech stocks, or they are mostly derived of tech and biotech stocks. So if we assume you put $350 a month into something like this, again, we would go back to what we're calling the DOE score here, be able to see your life, see your balance sheet, and go, yeah, you could do this. I see the 350 you can do. I see exactly where all this money's at. So we're going to say, all right, let's do that. Right? Average S&P return is 10%. The NASDAQ is just over 12% there. So if we look at this, here's basically a breakdown of how this would go. You're 35 years old. You've got nothing. Right? You're putting $350 away a month. By the time you reach age 60, what was the number? I should have put it on here. 65 and 9 months or something like that. Let's call it 66. You've got $1 million, right? If you're going to retire at the age of 70, which, come on, like, what are you doing? Yeah, maybe 70 works. You got $1.6 million. Sorry, that got cut off there. If we look at the S&P, starting at 35, you're doing $7,000 a year, 7% annual returns. You're at 707. Still nothing to sneeze at, by the way. It's better than having nothing. But if we look at age 45, you now have to double that, more than double that, to get to less than that amount of money. right? It's down here at the bottom. So really important that we focus on that. We want growth investments. We do not want dividend investments if you were starting late. I understand the attraction. Dividend investments are meant for those who already have a certain amount of wealth and need to diversify and start slowing things down a little bit. It is not for the person who is trying to play catch up. Do you got me? The other part, this garbage of these credit cards, like, as I get older, I'm getting more grumpy about how credit cards get away with this, but you got to focus on that first, right? I don't mean your mortgage payment. I don't mean your car payment, things like that. If you feel passionate about paying that off, then we should focus on that being something you do. Again, what we would do, and what we're about to start doing, is we'd come over here and go, can we create a plan to speed up that path of you paying off your credit card debt? Yes or no? Can we still invest while we're doing that? Yes or no? We're going to take a look and dive into it deeper, but you got to get rid of that crap there. It's just stupid. Now, lifestyle creep is another one, but this is not going to be based on inflation. So lifestyle creep is you. Oh my God, I'm going to Disney World a little bit more. Oh my God, we go out to eat a little bit more. Those things add up. I'm not picking on you for that, but they add up a little bit. The inflationary cost of living is baked into your investment returns. Remember that. So when we say the S&P returns, normally you'll see them say 7%, right? Well, the actual return is 9.9%, right? But we back out some for inflation. That's why we say 7. So remember that the inflation part is baked into your investment returns there. The other part there is you might have to work till you're 70. This does not mean full time. There are so many plans that we do with clients where we go, yeah, you can retire at 65, but not fully. We're going to need you to maybe hold on to some shares in your company. We're going to need you to maybe consider something part-time. You and your spouse can do something really part-time. Do something you love, but you're going to have to maybe have 2 retirement dates, the official one, the early one, and the official one there. The other part is the tax advantage accounts. I'm going to go further on this one here. Using the 401k, of course, we get the match, the TSP, the 403b, and things like that. I'm going to go further than that. If you are 35, and you have nothing, it now becomes really important that the type of investment you put in these accounts matches up. We don't want to create a tax problem down the road, right? And I'm talking about brokerage accounts. I'm talking about your Roth IRA and as everything sort of molds together under your general net worth, the types of investments that you put in there become really important, especially if you haven't saved anything yet or you have very little. So let's give you a little action plan here. First thing we're going to do, the biggest thing, calculate your freaking number, right? I mentioned this the other day. I bet you nobody knows exactly how much they need to save for retirement. What is the specific number? Is it $350? If so, why was it not $349? Why was it not $351, right? How'd we land on that? So calculate your actual numbers there. If you need help with that, of course, we do that. But if you just do spreadsheets or whatever you do, that's fine. Automatic investing is it's kind of like automatically paying your power bill, right? You just kind of need to do it. People argue that, well, you don't know if you use more power or not. Yeah, you still look at it, right? We're still engaged, but we automatically want to save the time to make it happen. When saving money in your 401k or whatever, most of the time that's automatic. Your Roth IRAs, your IRAs, brokerage accounts, that's not going to be automatic. Make it automatic. And here's a little side tip. Don't invest monthly. Break it down and invest weekly. Do it that way. The smaller amount weekly versus the larger amount monthly feels less on the wallet, but also statistically, it gives you a slight advantage. Did a whole class on that for clients. We want growth investments. I'm not saying the QQQ. I'm just saying that was the easiest one for me to pick that has a larger growth profile than the S&P or the SPY, if you want to look at that. Employer match is important. You just have to do it. That's 100% return on the dollars that you put in up to the match. So you got to do that there. And as your income increases, actually 401ks are getting really good at this, where they'll automatically increase for you if you tell them to do that. So that's actually not so much of a big deal anyways, but if your Roth IRA needs to be increased by 3% a year or by the rate of inflation, then make sure you take a second to do that, or tell your advisor, hey, can you increase my deposit by the rate of inflation? We use the 2-year rate of inflation here because 1 year can get a little bit crazy sometimes, but we'll tell people you need to invest, $122 a month or whatever it is, plus the rate of inflation. So next year, we're going to add 3% to that, or 2.2%, or whatever inflation comes in at. So, that's that one there. All right, little takeaways here. It is not too late if you're 35 and have nothing left for retirement there. It is going to require a little discipline, maybe a little bit of help. That's us, jazzwealth.com. And by doing this, you can actually get to $1 million portfolio, but that's only solving part of the problem. We now need to go and make sure that that will sustain the rest of your life or make adjustments where need be. And my favorite saying is to remember that the best time to start investing was 10 years ago. The next best time is right freaking now, right? So let's get on it. If you want to get on it and you want to do it with Jazz Wealth, thank you so much for keeping us in mind. I appreciate that. If you just wanted to learn something, you want to be on your way, maybe a thumbs up, give me a little something there to help us out. We appreciate anything and everything that you will do for us. And we'll be back to do more in the future. Adios.